What's up everyone? My name is Lhey from Mom and Lhey Designs. Welcome back to my channel. If you are new here, welcome, and I'm glad that you are. Well, today's video, I would like to talk about hand lettering. Around 2 years ago, I created a video that is now up to almost 500,000 views, and thank you for everyone who watched it, who shared it. I am grateful. Although, I am really thinking of remaking it, or I should say I wanted to make and create a new video because that was 2 years ago and I've learned so much along the way. I really wanted to, I am not going to promise that I'm going to create a playlist that is specific to really learning hand lettering with me. We're going to start with a basic, with the pens, what type of papers do I use, and then we're going to learn letter per letter. Again, these techniques are the ones that I've learned. I am not saying in any way, shape, or form that these are the right way to do it. But I've been getting a lot of requests and a lot of emails and questions to create a new one again and really start from the basic. What are the tips and tricks? What are the do's and the don'ts? And I hope that it will be helpful. So today I would like to start by talking about my favorite pens and what are my favorite phrases or letters or words to practice, and I would like to share them with you, and I would like to do it real time so you can really see the stroke slowly one by one, and we can really get into it and zoom in, and you can really see how I hold the pen and how the brush of the pen would lay down on the paper. So I hope this will be helpful, and if this is something that you're interested about, please consider subscribing to my channel and make sure you hit that notification bell so you get notified every time I have a new video. But anyways, thank you for watching and let's get on to it. Okay, so let's start with paper. Hammer Mill is my favorite paper. This one is a 32-pound paper, and it's 100 in brightness, which means it's really, really white. Oh, hold on. There it is. And so I got this big order from Amazon because every time I would make some sketches, you know, to turn into designs, I really love using pencil and sketch into a paper. And so this is my favorite. This is the Color Copy Digital. So, Color Copy Digital. And it's a 32-pound. It's thick enough, and it's really, really smooth. I mean, this is going to be nice to use with our next subject would be the pens. So, for loose paper, these are my favorites. And then I think for this exercise, I think I'll be sticking with the Stalogy notebook. I thought about using the Rhodia, and I think I want to start really fresh because this one's just kind of like whatever notebook. So I have everything here, like old sketches and things like that. So I think I want to start new and use this new notebook, use this new Stalogy notebook. This is a B6 size or a 5x7 size notebook. And so that's, I think for this whole lettering with me playlist, I would start using this. So at least I have everything in one place. And that's one tip that I'd like to share is that if you want to keep a notebook or sketchbook or something like that where you will have all of your practice exercises in one place so you can actually look back and you can see the progress, you know. But if you decide to use just loose papers, I mean, just make sure that you put it together in a folder so you have it, so you can have reference, and then you can see progress as we go along. Alrighty, so now that we've talked about that, we should move on and talk about some pens. Okay, so in front of me are many different types of pens that I use, and we're going to go through them one by one, and I'll show you what kind of effect or the look that you can get from a specific pen. Okay, so let us start off with these two pens. We have two pens here with the same company, which is from Pilot, and both of these are Fudenosuke pen. Okay, so as you can tell, this one is much thicker, so you can get much thicker lines because the tip is softer, so you can actually bend it more, so you can get that thicker lines. Compared to this other one, which has a small tip, but this one has a hard tip, which makes you attain those thin lines, but it will still give you a thick lines, but not as thick as the softer nibs. Because you can't really, even if you push, this is the thickest that I can get. And this one, so since it has a softer nib, if I press on that tip, I can get a much thicker line. And this one is that. But look how thin your lines are if you go up. And with this one, no matter how soft, see, it's still a little bit thicker. All right, so both of these are from Pilot, and both of them are Fudenosuke pen. So let's move along and talk about the next one, which is from Pentel. This is the Touch pen, and I can compare this to, let's say, the tip of this one is not as soft as the blue Pilot, but it's still very bendable. So it's easy to manage. If you are new with hand lettering, I think this is a very good pen to pick up. These are one of the very few pens that I've practiced with. So you can still get the thin and that thick lines. I love this because it's still very easy to manage. Sometimes the harder tip is much harder to, it's much harder to manage just because you can't really get the thick lines. Yes, it will be easier to get the thinner lines going up, but to get the thicker lines, if that's the look that you're looking for, then I'd say go with a much softer nib of brush pens. So this one is from Pentel, and that's called the Touch. Okie dokie, let's move on. And this one is from Copic. Okay, so we're gonna look at the tip of this one. So you can see this is a felt tip. So you can go get the thin lines and the thick lines. But to me, the brush, the nib itself travels so much that it really needs a great control to manage this pen. I think it's going to be hard to use this if you are a beginner, because it's going to take a while to get used to how much you can bend this tip. But again, like everything else, all you got to do is practice and really try to learn more about your pens, your tools, you know. So, but look how much thick lines you can get from this pen. So this is the Pigment Ink Copic Multi-Liner, but this is the brush tip. Look how thick those are. So you can really get that thick line, and then you can still write very thin. You know, if you are going to write really light. But for me, I'm having such a hard time controlling it. I don't know, maybe it's just me, but again, I just want to share with you everything, you know, that I feel and I'm experiencing with these pens. All right, so this one is my all-time favorite. This is from Tombow. Okay, it's probably still used now. I'm going to get a different one. I need to get a... Okay, so this is what it looks like. This is the blue Tombow Fudenosuke, and this is the hard nib. You can actually get a soft nib, which would be compared to the Pentel, but this one is the hard nib, and this is my favorite. I'm sorry guys, I was just trying to check if I have the green one. Okay, so this is the Tombow. This is what it looks like when it's new. All fresh. So this is a harder nib, but this is where I started. This is what I picked up when I was first learning. And I'm so glad I did, because I am so in love with this pen or marker, however you want to call it. You can really get thin and thick lines, and the more you use your pen, the more you get used to how much pressure you can put to attain this specific, or how much thick of a line you want. So you learn about it, you learn how to handle it. Okay, so if I practice and see how this is the pressure I'm gonna put in, I get a much thicker line. If I go a little bit softer, then I can, you know, get this specific, you know, a thin line like this, and see how different from the thin to the thick. That's why I love this so much, is you can get both from one pen. It's just all about the handling. It's just all about the pressure, the amount of pressure that you put in while you're writing. And I do everything with this pen. I ink my line arts, you know, with this. I do my lettering. I do my doodling with this. I use it for prints, for the scripts, you know, different hand lettered, different styles. It's just, I don't know, it's just my favorite. This one is my favorite, so if I can pick, this would be it. If you've been following me on Instagram or all over social media, you do know that I talk a lot about this marker or this pen. And when I'm doing some workshops, hand lettering workshops, I really highly recommend that one. Okay, so moving along. We did that Tombow, and then this one, we're gonna go to the next, which is a Tombow, but this one is their dual brush. Dual brush because it has two tips. You have a bullet type on the other, and then you have the brush tip on the other side. Okay, so when I say bullet type, is the mono line, you know, those hand letterings. It's like this, very clean. I don't use these a lot, these tips. I use them for sometimes doodling, or sometimes when I'm doing some writing in my bullet journal. I love using this because it doesn't bleed through. So when I'm doing some, I don't know, some cute doodles and I need that clean look of a line, then I use this bullet tip. All right, and so we're gonna go move forward and go on the other side of this pen. So we have the brush. This is, again, my favorite when it comes to my hand lettering. I'm sure that you've seen some of my past videos, and this is my favorite, and I do a lot of lettering with these type of markers. So this is the Tombow. See how I hold my pen? I go sideways with it. I do not write like this, like I'm actually writing, you know, so I go sideways with my pen. The way I handle it is like this. So if I want a thin line, I go really, really light, thin. And then when I want to do my thick line, I press on it and go thin again. I go thin, and then I gotta go thick. And so thick, you press. Don't be afraid to really put pressure in your marker, because that's the only way you're going to get your thick lines. So don't damage your marker by going straight. Slightly bend your wrist, whatever's the most comfortable, of course. And then just look at the nature of the tip. You know, so you can see here, see how it was slanted, and I go the tip to get the thin, and then slant it again, and then there we have it. So you can really get so much different looks with the Tombow dual brush, because you have the clean bullet tip, and then you have this beautiful brush tip that can create all of these beautiful lettering. Ooh, this marker seems dry. It's probably old now. But it's so beautiful. Okay, so that's the dual brush. And then, moving forward, this is a pen that I picked up from a local craft store here in America, Hobby Lobby. This is from Bree Reese. I hope I'm pronouncing it right. I've never heard of the company, so when I saw it, I wanted to try it. This is another brush. I can compare this to the Copic, but I think with this one, it's much harder for me to control, because again, see how the brush is bending so much? It's so soft that I'm having such a hard time controlling it. It's either that or I'm just not used to it. I haven't used it enough for me to really learn how much pressure I need to put in these type of pens. I guess that's it. I just really need to spend time with these. Oops, I was gonna make an A. To really spend time with these and learn it and get used to it, you know. But I think if I keep using it, I think I'm gonna get used to it, and I'll probably fall in love with this also. But these are very bendable. The tip are very soft. There you go. Really, really soft. So that being said, that's not my favorite marker. But look how beautiful. Look at how beautiful thick and thin you can also get from this type of pens. But to me, I can really get that by using the dual brush, you know. So, but Tombow doesn't have metallic yet, so maybe they'll come up with one. I'm not sure. Okay, before I forget, I have another one here. This is from Kuretake. So this one is another metallic, but the tip of this one is more comparable to the dual brush. So pretty. This one, the tip is much harder, so it's much easier to control. Look how beautiful that is. So this is the Kuretake, okay? I love another Fudenosuke. I have a marker. Hold on, guys. I keep adding. I'm so sorry, but I just want to share all my favorite markers with all of you. or at least the ones that I have here in the office. Okay, so this is from the same company, Kuretake, but this is called Zig Letter pen. And the Zig Letter pen, I will find this on Amazon, and I will post a link down below. As you know, I am going to try and find them and post it there so you guys can just click and then check it out yourself. So this Zig Kokoiro is my second favorite of all. Okay, so this would be my first, and then the letter pen would be my second one. And I can't believe I didn't have it out because, see, out of sight, out of mind. Okay, so the Zig Letter or the Zig Kokoiro comes with two different tips. It comes with this one, a hard tip, and it comes with a brush tip. So this is like a natural brush, probably synthetic, I'm not sure. I should have researched it. But this is what it looks like. The brush itself is not hard to control. And with it being a brush, okay, so brush tips are not my favorite. I don't know, because I guess I'm just having a hard time controlling, you know, having that control. But you can see I love using this when I'm writing in prints, because I love that thick and thin, and I love that messy brush look. Look at that, like a messy brush. I love, love, love that. So when I'm using this in my journals and I want that specific look, this is what I look for, is the Kokoiro, the Zig and brush tip. And you can use it for the lettering as well. Again, it's all about your strokes. It's all about that pressure. And I know I keep talking about it like a broken record, but really, know your tools, you know, so know all of them. And that is the reason why I wanted to do this introduction of the pens before we move on with the rest of the videos, is because I wanted to show you guys the different looks of the different pens, because I want to save you guys money in the long run, because when I was first starting, I wanted to try everything, my goodness. So I've been buying brush pens here and there, and so I have them, and it's not everything's on YouTube, you know, and sometimes, like, even if I'm sharing this now with you, you might still want to, I don't know, go out there and purchase it and try it on your own, because like what I said, these are my own experiences, you know, these are my opinions for these markers. My opinions might be different than yours, because your experience with the pen will totally, you know, be different than mine, okay? So maybe I'm really not, maybe I'm just enabling you more by showing this to you, but we're all doing this for fun, you know. So I mean, if you can afford it, then yeah, I mean, go ahead and try it, add it to your collection. There's nothing wrong with that. Okay, so I'm just going to put the brand name so we can all remember. Zig Kokoiro. Here we go. And then we're going to move forward with the same pen, but with a different tip. All right. I love how small and how thin this pen writes. It's like really so close to the real thing of having the, you know how the old calligraphy, which they're using the nibs, this is what it looks like. It looks like that, because it's so thin and it's so easy to control. For me, when I want to do swashes, I feel like I can get pretty swashes with these types of marker with this type of marker, this specific pen, I should say. So I really feel like I just have so much control with this. And, you know, I always share with friends on social media when they ask, they feel like they can't bend this because it's really hard. So I feel like they get scared to actually bend the pen or the nib to get that thicker lines. And you can't be scared because you have to, or else you won't be getting those thick lines, you know. And they come in many different colors too, which I really love. And this one's really pretty. Look how pretty this hot pink is. Okay, so the only I'm gonna share with you. So if you really love this Zig Lhey, why is Tombow your favorite? Well, that's a very good question. It's because Tombow, I can use this with watercolors. Okay, so it will not bleed. I can use it with Copic markers, with coloring, and it will not bleed. Because this is archival pen. So this will not bleed with your watercolors and things like that. Now, if I use the Zig, I cannot use this with watercoloring in my Hobonichi, especially I'm using my Hobonichi. That is when I stopped using this one because I do a lot of watercoloring and it's just, sadly, it doesn't work well with water. So no water for the Zig. That is the sad part. I wish they'll come up with something with the one that I can use with watercolor. Okay, so I feel like I am babbling now and I'm just wasting your time. But anyways, I really hope that you enjoyed this first video about paper and different type of pens. Again, I will try my hardest to find these products on Amazon, and I will post them down below. If you have any questions, I will try and answer them for you. Oh my gosh, before we forgot, before I go, I have one more pen to show you, which is, this one is a brush pen from Jane Davenport, okay? So I'll just quickly show you what it looks like. This is a brush, synthetic, I believe. So this is the look that you can get from these markers. So I feel like you can really get the same look from the Tombow, but this one, totally different experience with both of them, because that one's a real brush, and if you're a beginner, I think that you're gonna find using the dual brush much easier than the brush tip. Brush tips are a little tricky to use when it comes to lettering, and we're gonna go talk about that some more when we do some exercises. But I say try them, I mean, because it is totally a different look and experience when you're writing with them. And I feel like this one, I feel like you're really like, I don't know, I feel like an artist when I'm lettering with a brush tip, you know. I don't know why, don't ask me, but that's just me. But again, if you are a beginner, and I would recommend this, the Tombow. And then practice with that, practice, and then you can move on with a brush tip type of marker, type of pen. But again, anyways, that's a lot of talking, but I hope you learned something. Thank you so much. Thank you for joining me today. And again, we're going to be doing this lettering in a series of videos because it's really a lot of things to talk about, like what I mentioned in my intro. So if you want to learn with me, please consider subscribing, and don't forget to hit the notification bell so you'll get notified. If you have any questions, please feel free to leave them in the comment section down below. Thank you for joining me, and I hope to see you again next time. Have a good one, and my name is Lhey, and thank you for watching. Bye-bye.